There's something almost sacred about those final quiet hours before sleep. The world slows down, the lights dim, and if you're lucky, your body responds with a gentle sigh, a natural readiness to let go, drift off, and heal from within. But for millions of people, that transition never quite happens the way it should. It's not always about stress or screens or even sleep hygiene. Sometimes it's about something far more basic, something as simple and as powerful as the food we choose to eat. Tonight's sleep doesn't begin with a pillow. It begins in your kitchen. What if your next great night's sleep wasn't locked behind a prescription or an app, but sitting quietly in your pantry, whole, natural, unprocessed? What if the path to deep, restorative rest began with a handful of almonds, a spoonful of honey, or a warm mug of something your grandmother used to make? Food, after all, has always been our most intimate medicine. It enters our body, it changes our chemistry, it affects our brain, our hormones, and even our dreams. And yet we rarely think of food as something that can tuck us in. That's what this episode is about. 5 foods that don't just nourish you, but gently invite your body into sleep. Foods that speak the language of melatonin, magnesium, tryptophan, GABA, serotonin. Not through pills, but through plants, seeds, nuts, and fruits that humans have eaten for generations. These aren't trendy superfoods or exotic imports. They're simple, often inexpensive, comforting, familiar. And they work with your body's biology, not against it. We're going to look at what they do, why they work, and how you can use them to improve your sleep, your energy, your focus, and maybe even add years to your life. Because when you sleep better, everything gets better. Memory, mood, metabolism, longevity. Sleep is not a luxury. It's your body's deepest tool for healing. And real food can help you get there. So let's begin with one of the most quietly powerful sleep allies of all, a humble nut with ancient roots and modern science to back it up: almonds. Almonds are more than a snack. They're a pharmacy in a shell. Long before research labs and clinical trials, almonds were used across the Middle East and Mediterranean to calm the body, ease digestion, and yes, support sleep. Ancient Persian texts mentioned almonds in night tonics. In Ayurveda, they're used to stabilize vata, the restless energy often associated with poor sleep. And now, science is catching up. A single ounce of almonds, around 23 nuts, gives you nearly 20% of your daily magnesium needs. And magnesium is one of sleep's quiet superheroes. It calms the nervous system, helps regulate melatonin, and improves sleep efficiency. The ratio of time you spend in bed actually sleeping. But it's not just magnesium. Almonds also contain tryptophan, the amino acid that's a precursor to serotonin, the mood chemical, and melatonin, the sleep hormone. This means almonds help your brain shift gears at the end of the day, from alert and task-focused to calm and ready for rest. And here's something most people don't know. Almonds also contain riboflavin and phosphorus, which help support muscle recovery overnight, especially important if you're active, aging, or simply trying to heal. So how should you eat them? Whole almonds are great, but soak them overnight and they become even more digestible, softer, sweeter, and gentler on the stomach. You can blend them into warm almond milk with a touch of cinnamon and honey, creating a cozy bedtime drink that delivers sleep nutrients in one comforting sip. Even just chewing them slowly before bed, 20 mindful crunches, a slow exhale between bites, can signal to your nervous system that the day is winding down. That's the magic of almonds. Quiet, nutrient-dense, calming. And when paired with the next food on our list, something creamy, ancient, and fermented, their effects multiply. There's something deeply reassuring about yogurt. It's familiar, cool, smooth, gentle on the stomach. For many of us, it brings back memories of quiet breakfasts or simple evening snacks. But what if we told you that the real magic of yogurt happens not in the morning, but just before bed? Let's talk about the science. Yogurt, especially plain, unsweetened varieties with live cultures, is one of the most powerful natural supports for your gut. And, as we now know, your gut and your sleep are deeply connected. Inside your digestive tract lives a vast ecosystem of bacteria, often called your microbiome. These bacteria are not just digesting your food. They're helping produce key brain chemicals, including serotonin and GABA, both of which play a central role in sleep regulation. Serotonin helps set your circadian rhythm. GABA calms your mind, slows your breathing, and reduces anxiety, all essential steps toward falling and staying asleep. And guess what? Certain strains of probiotic bacteria found in yogurt, like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, have been shown to increase GABA production naturally. But yogurt doesn't stop there. It's rich in calcium, and calcium is one of the key minerals involved in melatonin synthesis. Without enough calcium, your body can't produce or release melatonin efficiently. That's one reason people with calcium deficiencies often struggle with insomnia or light, fragmented sleep. And for older adults, especially women who may have declining calcium stores, a small serving of yogurt in the evening can be both soothing and supportive. Now, you might be wondering, doesn't eating dairy before bed cause discomfort? And it can, especially if the yogurt is highly processed, sweetened, or if you're sensitive to lactose. But when you choose organic full-fat yogurt with live cultures, you're getting a product that's been naturally fermented. That fermentation process partially breaks down the lactose, making it easier to digest and gentler on your system. And here's where it gets even more interesting. When you pair yogurt with certain foods like almonds, walnuts, or even a drizzle of raw honey, you create a synergistic effect. The fats and proteins in the nuts slow down digestion, stabilizing blood sugar through the night. The yogurt provides gut-friendly bacteria and calcium, and the honey? Well, we'll get to that soon. If you prefer a warm option, try making a yogurt-based smoothie with banana, nutmeg, and a pinch of flaxseed. The banana adds potassium and magnesium, the nutmeg brings a natural sedative compound called myristicin, and flaxseed supports omega-3 intake, all combining to soothe your nervous system and support deep sleep. It's important to remember that food isn't just about nutrients, it's about rhythm, comfort, timing. Eating a small bowl of yogurt 1 hour before bed, not too close, not too far, can act as a signal to your brain that the day is complete, the digestion process is underway, and it's safe to shift gears. There's a beautiful phrase in Sanskrit, ahara shuddhi. It means purity of food equals purity of mind. Yogurt is one of those pure, humble foods that doesn't demand attention. It simply supports you, quietly, from the inside out. And now, as our story continues, we move to something golden. A food so ancient it's been found in tombs. A food so healing that even a spoonful can help lower nighttime cortisol and guide your body into rest. It's not a pill. It's not a product. It's nature's most soothing sweetener, and the third natural sleep food we're about to explore may already be sitting in your kitchen cabinet. There's something undeniably comforting about honey. Its warmth, its golden glow, the way it sticks to the spoon like a memory you don't want to let go of. And long before we understood words like melatonin or neurotransmitters, honey was already being whispered into teacups and stirred into warm milk as a nightly ritual for better sleep. But this isn't just folklore. The science behind honey and sleep is both fascinating and elegant, a perfect example of how nature seems to have known the recipe for rest long before we figured out the chemistry. Let's start with the brain. Your brain runs on glucose, but at night it needs a very steady, gentle supply of it, just enough to keep certain functions running while letting the rest of you rest. Raw honey provides precisely that. Unlike refined sugar, which causes sharp spikes and crashes, honey releases glucose gradually. This slow release stabilizes your blood sugar throughout the night, helping prevent those 2 a.m. wake-ups that come when your liver runs out of stored glycogen. It's like giving your brain a soft, steady stream of fuel while the rest of your body sleeps. Even more interesting, this slow drip glucose helps trigger the release of tryptophan into the brain. Tryptophan, the same amino acid found in almonds and yogurt, is the precursor to serotonin and melatonin. Without enough tryptophan, your brain can't shift into sleep mode effectively, and honey helps it get there. But that's just the beginning. Honey has also been shown to reduce nighttime cortisol levels. Cortisol, as you probably know, is the stress hormone. And while we need it during the day to stay alert, elevated nighttime cortisol is one of the top reasons people experience racing thoughts, shallow sleep, or even insomnia. Just a teaspoon of raw honey before bed can nudge cortisol downward, gently, naturally, without sedatives. And here's something that might surprise you. Honey even supports liver function overnight. While you sleep, your liver is working hard to detoxify your blood, process hormones, and repair tissue. The slow sugar release from honey actually supports these processes, giving your liver the energy it needs without overstimulating the rest of your system. Of course, not all honey is created equal. For sleep, the best option is raw, unfiltered honey. Look for local varieties, ideally harvested close to home. They often contain trace amounts of local pollen, enzymes, and antioxidants that are stripped from commercial honey. You want honey that hasn't been heated or pasteurized, the kind that crystallizes over time, that still smells like flowers and sun. Now, let's talk about how to use it. A simple teaspoon before bed is enough. You can eat it plain, or stir it into warm water, herbal tea, or almond milk. Some people even combine it with a pinch of sea salt, a combination that supports adrenal balance and may be especially helpful for those who wake up feeling anxious or overstimulated. If you're feeling extra cozy, try a nighttime tonic made with turmeric, cinnamon, black pepper, almond milk, and honey, often called golden milk. It's soothing, anti-inflammatory, and delicious. And the honey at the heart of it helps carry those calming spices deeper into your system. Sleep is not just about stopping, it's about softening. And honey, in its texture, its chemistry, and its history, is the perfect symbol of that softening. It doesn't force sleep, it invites it. And as you're gently drifting toward rest, there's one more food we need to talk about. A fruit, actually. Small, tart, and powerful. It's not only naturally rich in melatonin, it's also one of the most clinically studied foods in sleep science today. And its effects? Well, let's just say that even elite athletes are now turning to this little fruit not for energy, but for recovery. Let's talk about cherries. Not the sweet ones you toss into a summer pie, but the tart, ruby red kind that pack a surprisingly powerful punch when it comes to sleep. Tart cherries, especially the Montmorency variety, are one of the very few natural foods that contain measurable amounts of melatonin, the hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycle. That alone would be enough to get our attention. But the story doesn't stop there. Researchers have been studying the connection between tart cherries and sleep for over a decade, and the results are both consistent and exciting. In several clinical trials, participants who consumed tart cherry juice, about 8 ounces in the morning and 8 ounces in the evening, experienced significant improvements in both sleep duration and quality. We're talking about an extra 60 to 90 minutes of sleep per night. Naturally. No pills. No drowsiness the next day. The reason lies in the cherry's natural profile. Beyond melatonin, they're rich in anthocyanins, deep red, purple pigments that have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. These compounds help reduce oxidative stress, which is especially important at night when the body is trying to repair itself. Inflammation and poor sleep are often linked. If your body is inflamed, your nervous system remains slightly activated. That's why foods like tart cherries, which calm inflammation and boost melatonin, can feel like a lullaby for your cells. But there's more. Tart cherries also contain tryptophan and a precursor called 5-HIAA, both of which support serotonin production. This makes them a triple threat. They support serotonin during the day, melatonin at night, and reduce the oxidative stress that disrupts both. For athletes, the benefits go even further. Tart cherry juice has been shown to reduce muscle soreness, accelerate recovery, and improve overnight repair. But you don't have to run marathons to feel the effects. Even mild daily stress, physical, emotional, or mental, causes microscopic wear and tear on the body, and cherries help patch those micro tears while you sleep. So, how do you use them? The easiest method is unsweetened tart cherry juice. Look for pure juice, not blends or concentrates loaded with sugar. Drink a small glass about 1 hour before bed. You can also freeze it into cubes and drop them into warm herbal tea or almond milk for a beautiful pink ton. Some people prefer tart cherry capsules, which are more concentrated and easier to travel with. But if you enjoy whole food rituals, try adding dried tart cherries to your evening yogurt, or blending frozen ones into a bedtime smoothie with banana, almond milk, and a touch of honey. The taste is part of the experience. Slightly sour, slightly earthy, it wakes up your tongue, and then, paradoxically, helps your body fall asleep. There's something poetic about that, These tiny fruits, grown in chilly climates and harvested at their peak, hold within them a message we all need to hear. Even the most active systems need rest. Even the brightest fruit needs darkness to become sweet. And that brings us to our final food. Perhaps the simplest of all. It's soft, it's green, it's often eaten at breakfast. But it turns out it may be one of the most effective natural sedatives in your kitchen. Not because it knocks you out, but because it nourishes your nerves. Sometimes the most powerful things are the most ordinary. That's especially true with our final sleep food, the banana. It sits quietly on kitchen counters across the country, waiting to be tossed into cereal, peeled on the go, or blended into smoothies. But hidden beneath its familiar yellow skin is a complex blend of sleep-supporting compounds that make it far more than just a convenient fruit. Bananas are rich in three things your nervous system craves at night: magnesium, potassium, and vitamin B6. Together, they help your muscles relax, your brain release melatonin, and your mind ease into rest. Let's start with magnesium and potassium. These minerals are natural muscle relaxants. When you lie down at the end of the day and your legs feel restless or your body refuses to sink into stillness, it's often because your muscles are tense, not from overuse, but from undernourishment. Magnesium calms that tension. Potassium supports electrolyte balance, and together, they tell your muscles, you're safe, you can let go now. Then there's vitamin B6, a quiet hero in the sleep process. It helps your brain convert tryptophan into serotonin, and serotonin into melatonin. Without B6, the conversion process is slow and incomplete, but a single banana delivers about 20% of your daily B6 needs, making it one of the easiest, most delicious ways to prime your sleep hormones. And if you've ever had a banana before bed, you might have noticed something else. Warmth, not physical heat, but a sense of internal calm. That's real. Bananas help reduce blood pressure, stabilize blood sugar, and trigger a gentle release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with contentment and reward. But here's the part most people miss. Bananas are also high in natural carbohydrates, and that matters. Carbs get a bad rap, but at night, when eaten in small, balanced amounts, carbohydrates help transport tryptophan across the blood-brain barrier. It's like a passport for amino acids. Without carbs, tryptophan has trouble reaching the brain. With them, especially when paired with protein or fat, like from almonds or yogurt, the brain lights up with serotonin, then melatonin. So, if you're looking for the ultimate natural sleep combo, try this. Slice a banana, sprinkle it with crushed almonds, add a spoonful of yogurt, and drizzle it with raw honey. That's all 5 sleep foods in one dish, rich in magnesium, calcium, tryptophan, melatonin, and antioxidants. A dessert that doesn't disturb your rest, but enhances it. A snack that feels like a lullaby. And if you're someone who wakes up during the night, not from anxiety or noise, but simply with a jolt of energy, a small piece of banana with a dab of honey might be the perfect midnight solution. It supports blood sugar without overstimulating digestion and provides just enough glucose for the liver to keep fueling the brain until morning. Bananas are comfort food in the truest sense. They don't just fill you up, they calm you down. And perhaps more importantly, they're a reminder that healing doesn't always require something new or exotic. Sometimes the answer is already on your kitchen counter, in your fridge, in your hands. As we now bring all 5 foods together, almonds, yogurt, honey, tart cherries, and bananas, you may begin to see the pattern. Each one supports the others. Each one fills a gap in the sleep process. And together, they create something greater than the sum of their parts. Not a sleep hack, not a cure, but a gentle, nourishing routine. Because sleep isn't just about what happens at night. It's about how you live during the day. Sleep is one of the most natural things we do, and yet in today's world, it's often the one thing we struggle with the most. We've built lives filled with light, noise, and speed, and somewhere along the way, rest became optional, a luxury, a backup plan. But the truth is, sleep isn't the absence of action. It's an action itself. It's not passive. It's profoundly active. Your body is healing. Your brain is organizing. Your immune system is rebuilding. Your heart is recovering. And every cell in your body is doing something that can only happen when you're still. And what supports that process more deeply than anything? Not just silence, not just darkness, but nourishment. Real nourishment. The kind that doesn't come in a bottle or a box, but from the earth. Whole, honest, and unchanged. When you eat with intention, especially at night, you're telling your body, I see you, I respect you, I want you to thrive. And that changes everything. You begin to sleep not just because you're tired, but because you're supported. You're not forcing sleep, you're inviting it. Through magnesium, melatonin, tryptophan, GABA, and glucose. All delivered by food that's been part of the human story for thousands of years. Almonds calm your nervous system. Yogurt heals your gut and regulates melatonin. Honey lowers stress hormones and supports steady energy. Tart cherries synchronize your rhythm. And bananas ease the body into a deeper, softer place. These are not hacks. These are habits. Tiny, beautiful habits that, over time, change your chemistry, change your days, and yes, change your nights. And if you're wondering how to start, here's the secret. Don't overhaul everything. Start small. Add a handful of almonds in the evening. Swap out dessert for a bowl of yogurt with fruit. Stir honey into a warm drink and sip it slowly. Keep tart cherry juice in your fridge. Let bananas be your comfort instead of cookies or screens. Sleep is not something we earn. It's something we return to, something we remember. And the foods you choose, the way you care for your body before bed, are like keys that help you unlock the door. So tonight, as the light fades and the world grows quiet, remember, you are not broken. Your body is not fighting you. It is waiting for support. It is waiting to exhale. And with just a little help, a little nourishment, a little rhythm, a little kindness, you can rest. Deeply, naturally, fully. Not just to survive tomorrow, but to live it. With clarity, with strength, with energy, and with joy. Because sleep isn't the end of the day. It's the beginning of everything.